You want me to put that on my todger?
The comeback of Harry's wife? Now, if you think this is something to do with the emission of a fluid on a particular part of somebody's body, shame on you, you degenerate-minded individual. That says so much about you, rather than about me. This, of course, relates to The Spectator, opining through Alexander Larman, are we about to witness the comeback of Harry's wife? It is a fair question, of course. She took a bit of a hiding as of late as a consequence of the disclosures, or perhaps better described as dick-closures, as a consequence of Harry's preoccupation with his genitalia, that emerged from, the lampooning that took place from South Park. The reportage about the same, the omission from being included in the coronation. Of course, she chose not to, but her hand was forced as a consequence of the repeated threats to control that she faces. And therefore, having taken this hiding, she went into a kind of hiding, which is all comparative, of course. She continued to ensure that the PR puff pieces were pumped out. But for her, she kept a comparatively low profile. But she's emerged like some twisted butterfly coming out of its chrysalis as a consequence of recent appearances on the video TED Talk, the appearance at the baseball, and of course, more PR puff pieces that have been appearing in the press. And thus, Alexander Larman writes, seasoned observers of Harry's wife, and by now, surely there cannot be any other kind, might be forgiven for wondering why the Duchess of Sussex has been keeping a comparatively low profile so far in 2023. Her husband seems ubiquitous, whether popping up in the law courts to denounce the media, plugging his memoir, or keeping a nation guessing before announcing that he will, in fact, attend his father's coronation. Harry's wife, on the other hand, has been notable by her absence from the public gaze. Yet it might be that she is preparing to make a grand comeback. The news broke recently that the Duchess has signed up with the all-powerful Hollywood talent agency, William Morris Entertainment, WME, home of A-list stars from Rihanna to Hugh Jackman. Harry's wife herself will be managed by Brad Slater and Jill Smoller, the architects behind the success of, respectively, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Serena Williams, as well as the all-powerful Ari Emanuel. Make no mistake, the company that she is keeping is making it very clear that Harry's wife is a very big deal indeed. She has always regarded herself as someone imbued with star quality, self-absorption, grandiosity, delusion. And now the WME signing has proved that her self-belief, never something that she has been short of, is matched by a general recognition from the Hollywood glitterati that she is very much one of them. Well, pausing there, I wouldn't suggest that that's accurate at all. Just because she's with this agency doesn't mean that the rest of Hollywood accepts who she is. Indeed, the evidence shows to the contrary, with the failure of the A-list to embrace her. Returning to the article, but what can we expect from her? A return to acting? Perhaps the romantic comedy that she suggested that she was keen to make? Not exactly. Instead, the focus will be on film and television production. No return to the bananitarianism, I shall put my teeth in. Brand partnerships, i.e. hijacking of other people's hard work. And overall business building, whatever the fuck that is. In other words, we can expect more Netflix series, return to being a bananitarianism, got it right that time. A great deal more Archwell content. And possibly a few executive producer credits, rather than another series of Suits. It has been made clear that she is not expected to appear in front of the cameras again. Well, that would be a delight, wouldn't it? Although only the most optimistic of us would rule out the odd attention-seeking cameo in high-profile projects in years to come. Absolutely the case. Her narcissism would not be able to resist putting herself in front of the cameras so that the small number of fans that she have would all start slavering over her and everybody else would go, oh God, not her again. The article continues by stating, it is not hard to see why Harry's wife is keen to build her own individual brand. As her husband's bull in a china shop attitude towards his family show no signs of resolving itself, she is sufficiently savvy to realise that she cannot maintain her reputation and fortune by defining herself in opposition to the family that she was briefly part of. Indeed, I doubt that she's necessarily recognised that herself, because the victim mentality of her narcissism will have caused her to continue to bleat about them. However, certain advisors will have said to her, that isn't going to work. And when they can point to reduced popularity, reduced offers, and of course we know her obsession with that residual benefit that is money, she is going to pay some attention. Even though she knows best, of course, she will have due regard to these threats to control, and the signing up with this agency in a shift in direction is, of course, commensurate with the way that her narcissism will function. It's also, of course, part of the continued devaluation of Harry and the way that ultimately she's starting to forge her own path, which brings his likely disengagement all the more forward. It's obvious, the article continues, that she's craved global celebrity for years. Absolutely the case. Driven by her narcissism, she wants that platform so that she's able to assert control through celebrity over millions of people, that she can gain adoration from all of those individuals, or at least that's what she aims for, with the receipt of the fuel that comes with that. And, of course, that gives access to the residual benefits of facade management and money. This latest development will do little to tarnish her A-list status. Again, I don't agree with the author that she has A-list status. She's certainly well known, but a lot of it's based on infamy. What is she A-list for? Acting? No. Politics? No. Celebrity? Not really. She could be A-list for grifting, but that's not how she sees herself. You wouldn't put her amongst the A-list in Hollywood. They would reject her, and she hasn't got the calibre of films behind her and television work that many of those individuals have. She hasn't got a string of successful books behind her, or successful broadcasting. We've all seen how R.C. Wipes plummeted. Her absence from the impending coronation has been much discussed, but it now seems increasingly clear that such matters are an irrelevance to her. Again, that's not entirely correct. It's not irrelevant to her because it would provide her with an opportunity to pursue the prime aims. It's also not an irrelevancy because it actually amounts to a threat to her. The primary goal now, suggests the author, is the acquisition and maintenance of her fame at the highest imaginable level. Indeed, that, of course, is a prime aim because it enables the assertion of control, the drawing of fuel and residual benefits and character traits. So the attainment of this fame and its maintenance is hugely important to her. Also, alongside that, there is likely to be the case that Harry is not going to play a part in it. The author ends by stating, love her or loathe her, there can be little doubt that the Duchess of Sussex is likely to remain a figure in the public consciousness for a considerable time to come. Lucky, lucky us. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.